And I actually think that Stephen Ross entered that season with the intent of a full campaign tank. Not once we're out of it, let's go ahead and win by losing. Let's go ahead and enhance our draft status by mailing it in. We're already done. And I've been a proponent for years. And, Peter, the NFL's created the system that incentivizes it. Once you know you're not making it to the playoffs, who cares what your record is? Go ahead and get the best possible draft position, round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that you can. The system is set up to incentivize that. But I think Ross entered the year, and I remember how they got beat 59-10 week 1 by the Ravens. There was acrimony. There was dysfunction. Minka Fitzpatrick got traded, and I think at some point fairly early in the season, Brian Flores said, I'm not playing along with this. I have to try to build something here. I am not going to have an entirely wasted season just because Stephen Ross wants Tua Tagovailoa and pivoted Joe Burrow after Tua broke his hip and Burrow became Joe Burrow. Before he was Joe Burrow, we didn't know who the hell he was. And, Peter, I'm trying to spin this forward. You know, there's a great comment that's been made by M. Bruce Esquire on Twitter. Side issue, but potentially huge. How does the new NFL with sportbook relationships, how does that look after allegations, coaches being asked to throw games? The integrity of the games are paramount for a functional sports betting industry. I think the NFL has to eliminate all potential temptation. What it does now is ignore it. It just ignores it. You have to eliminate any temptation to deliberately lose games once you are eliminated or, as a practical matter, done. And the only way to eliminate the temptation, and bear with me here, I'm going somewhere with this. It sounds kooky on the surface. The only way to do it is to have a straight lottery for all the teams that don't make it to the playoffs. The 18 teams that don't make it, with no extra balls for being the worst. This is a point where they just have to say, we're going to have a line. The 14 team, we assume that no one is going to not try to make the playoffs in an effort to get, a crack at a high draft pick. But anyone who doesn't make the playoffs, all 18 teams go into the same hopper, one ball each, and that's how we're going to determine the draft order from 1 to 18. That is the only way to minimize the temptation that has been there for years to lose games once you know you're out of it, or to enter a season, as Stephen Ross did in 2019, I believe, intending to lose as much as he could. Because in the scenario I'm suggesting, even if you intentionally lose all your games, you still are in the hopper with the other 17 non-playoff teams to determine how those first 18 picks go. That's the only way to fix this. That's it. Any other system is going to have a temptation to enhance your position by losing games.
I mean, I don't like it, Mike. I don't hate the concept of trying to eliminate any chance for tanking. I think that's admirable, but I think it's also pretty I don't want to say silly. That's the wrong word. I think it's wrong to think that you'd be fixing a problem by, let's say, for just the sake of argument, in a year in which a team wins one game, a team goes 1-16, they would be in the same boat and have the same chance of getting the top draft choice as a team that goes 9-8. That goes against the NFL's stated goal of trying to give everybody a chance every year. What would have happened in the year, for instance, that the Bengals got the top draft pick and took Joe Burrow, if, let's say, somehow, some way, the 17th team normally in the draft lottery it was awarded the first pick in the draft, and the Bengals were awarded the 15th. There's something about that, and I understand wanting to eliminate tanking, but I think you're going so far the other way on that one.
Well, but Peter, the problem is the NFL is married to this concept that it's good for the game to let the dysfunctional teams have dibs on the best players coming out of college and potentially ruin those players, right? The idea is it's all going to work out, and we're going to balance it out, and we're going to have, Pete Rozell's dream of everybody being 8-9 or 9-8 and all playoff spots undecided until the final weekend of the season. And look, that's fine, but my point is this. if the NFL finds itself with a major problem over this Stephen Ross accusation, they are going to have to take a long look at whether it's worth it to them to have, hiding in plain sight, incentives to lose games once you know you're not making it to the playoffs. Or if you have a team that you don't think is going to be very good, entering the season with the idea, we're just going to go ahead and take our lumps and try to get the first pick in next year's draft. And the system that currently is in place encourages that. So if they ever become convinced that they have to remove that incentive, this example is the kind of thing that they need to consider. And frankly, here's another one. And if you thought the last one was silly, where do you get a load of this one? Why not? Well, why do we even reward, I almost said a word I shouldn't, crappy play? Why do we do that? Why do we incentivize it? Why do we say, hey, you are the worst team in the NFL. Congratulations. You have secured dibs on the best player coming out of college this year. Now go screw up his career too. Why isn't it one of the spoils of victory? I just won the Super Bowl. You know what? I win the Super Bowl, I get the first pick in the draft. And it goes in that order instead of the other way. That would eliminate all incentive to tank if that was the rule. You can't say there'd be any incentive to tank.
I mean, I guess I would just respond by asking, if you were trying to make up a perfect scenario for forming a new league and for trying to make this league
I know what I'd do.
I know what I'd do. Go ahead. What would you do?
I'd get rid of the draft.
Yeah.
The draft is a sham. The draft is a farce. These guys should be free agents. They should get to pick their NFL programs the way that they pick their colleges. It would encourage excellence and eliminate, or at least create an incentive to eliminate dysfunction, because you no longer have to sit back and be a crap team and you have the first pick fall into your laps. You got to go work for them. People are like, well, the Cowboys would sign everyone. No, there'd still be a salary cap, and there'd be a hard rookie salary cap, and you'd have to pick and choose who you actually sign and how much you pay him. And what quarterback's going to go to the Chiefs if he's good? They got Patrick Mahomes. It's all going to work out. You're going to go to places where you think you can play. But if you want to make it, if you want to make it non-dysfunctional, just get rid of the draft altogether. They never will.
That's that's a much better idea than either of the previous two.
Then get rid of the draft.
I'm not necessarily
get rid of the draft.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. But I mean, the draft has become, right now anyway, and the reason why the NFL would fight that tooth and nail, obviously, is that the draft has become like the fourth largest sport in America. The NFL draft, probably in the United States, is more popular than the NHL. I mean, think about that. The draft lasts for 3 days, but it, in essence, lasts the whole year. It really does. It's insane how much the draft is covered. And so, to me, I look at this, and the NFL would fight that, not because they're trying to make everybody equal. The NFL would fight that because it's become a gigantic part of the NFL calendar, a gigantic moneymaker with cities falling all over themselves to host the draft. And who knows how much money changes hands. But this is something that, for reasons having nothing to do with competitive balance, for reasons only because it has become as much a part of the NFL calendar as opening day is, that the NFL would fight that to the death.
It's even bigger than opening day. It is the ultimate offseason tentpole, and I agree with you. They're not getting rid of the draft. I don't like the draft. I think it's anti-American, and we can have that conversation another day, and there are plenty of people who disagree with me, and I don't care. I have managed to bring a lot of people around to my way of thinking that players should be able to pick where they start their career, not the other way around. But you're right, it's not going anywhere. But if they're going to take this seriously, if they're forced to take it seriously, because, Peter, they're not going to take it seriously. They're not going to investigate Stephen Ross. They're not going to throw him out of club oligarch the way that Jerry Richardson was summarily
I wouldn't be so sure.
Ushered out. Then if they do acknowledge this, they have to prevent it from happening again in the future. And you have to find a middle ground. At a minimum, you have to reduce the incentive to tank, or you have to eliminate it. And the easiest way to eliminate it would be to get rid of the draft. We agree on that. But they have to look for a hybrid where when you enter the season, you know there's no extra benefit to being as bad as you can be. Or when you are eliminated from playoff consideration, you know that there's no reason to try to lose games. The Buccaneers did it the last game of 2014. We've talked about this before. They pulled half their starters down or up double digits against the Saints, lost that game, and secured the rights to Jameis Winston. Now, they got their punishment, but still, they also got the first pick in the draft when they wanted the first pick in the draft. So it's happened, it's out there, and this is an extreme example of what an owner will try to do to get it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.